Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're just going to be ranking every transfer window so far in the Premier League. Since we're not at the end of the transfer window, this could easily change. I may even react to this when it finishes. So starting off with Arsenal, this is genuinely for a Premier League champion. I mean, you saw what Liverpool did last year. Liverpool had what was seen as the best transfer window of all time. It did flop, to be fair. A lot of the players, they came fifth in Premier League. But that transfer window compared to Arsenal's was unreal. I mean, Arsenal have only signed Christos Tzolis for 34 mil from Club Brugge. They've lost a few players, but nothing, too big. No one that would impact their squad too much. So that's an upside. But they've literally signed. They need attackers. If they want to win that Premier League again, they don't need anything, I don't think, midfield or defence. I just think they need... They got their winger, but I think they need stronger, big names. And Vinny Jr., I think, just got denied with the transfer and stayed at Real Madrid. So far, I mean, you can't give anything else but D for Arsenal because they've done nothing. Really, they've done nothing. Next, we've got Aston Villa. They've made some good and bad signings, but let's include the fact that they lost Morgan Rogers, their best player. Yuri Tielemans, one of their best players. And, I mean, they managed to get 117 million out of Morgan Rogers, which is amazing. But they've also lost a 29-year-old Yuri Tielemans, who was amazing last season. And I just think that is too impactful to their squad. Whilst they have signed some good signings like João Gomez and Manzambi, who had an amazing run with Switzerland. And I think Garnacho will suit Unai Emery. I think it's a good signing for Unai Emery on loan. But, I mean, those signings aren't as big as Rodgers and Tielemans, who have been sold. So, for that reason, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a D, but it's got to be a C tier for me. I mean, they sold Marlon. Nothing else that is too big. With Arsenal as well, they did confirm the signing of Hincapie, but he's already been at the club, so we won't count him. Next is Bournemouth, another boring one. They've signed Alvaro Rodriguez for 21 million from Elche. Literally nothing else. What's about to happen? They'll probably sell Ryan. Senezi's already gone to Spurs for free. And Krupi might go to Spurs as well, or Barcelona or wherever. So, I mean, they're losing an amazing centre-back from last season, a striker who has got potential to be an amazing player, and another amazing right winger. Ryan might say, though, that's the only thing. So this has got to be, again, a D tier because they've done nothing with that. Next one on to Brighton. They signed Vuskovic from us. I'm quite annoyed about that one. I'm a Spurs fan. And that's a very good signing for them. For Hamburg last season, he was amazing. And honestly, he's got potential to be something else, honestly. They've made some good signings as well as Pascal Stric. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he had a good season with Leeds last year. Nothing else too big for them. They did sell Van Hecke to us, but I think Vuskovic for the long term would be a better signing than Van Hecke to Tottenham. Overall, I think they haven't made many, big... Well, they made one, good signing, but then it's justified as they lost a player. So it can't be anything else but C. I don't think it's D tier because there's been nothing bad, I'd say. So let's go on to Brentford transfers as well. We're looking at Jadon Anthony, Callum Wilson, and a few more, but nothing too big. I think Jadon Anthony's solid. Callum Wilson seems to go everywhere in the Premier League. Fulham, West Ham, Newcastle, now Brentford. I just don't think that transfer is they've done nothing in this transfer. They've not lost anyone big. I think Brentford especially with I think they've got European football, might struggle with a lot of the games because of squad depth. But I think, yeah, I mean, they've done nothing. It's got to be a D tier. It's got to be D tier. Now we're on to Chelsea. This one's a bigger one, actually. They just signed Lacroix, which is an amazing signing. They finally signed an actual, it's controversial, but like a good centre-back. I mean, Colwell can be amazing as well. But their centre-backs have never... Chalobah is, decent, but they've never had a solid centre-back that can, stay fit and just be reliable every game. So Lacroix will suit that perfectly, which is an amazing signing. And then they signed Rodgers as well, which is just... I mean, the price is high, but I think that's very good. But then again, they did lose Andre Santos, not the biggest loss, but hey-ho. And they lost Cucurella, probably the best, or one of the best left-backs in the world at the moment, which isn't great. I mean... But they might lose Enzo Fernandez, but this is currently... They might lose other players. But I think bringing in Morgan Rodgers and Lacroix is amazing. And they signed Palestra as well, which is good. I think, me personally, I think they should sign another left-back. I think Cucurella is a big loss. But, I mean, so far, I think that's going to be our best one yet. I think Rodgers and Lacroix... Do I put it A tier or B tier? This is tough because they did lose Cucurella. If they didn't lose Cucurella, I'd put them A, but it's got to be B for now. Next, we're on to Coventry. It's so hard with, newly promoted teams. It's a lot, harder for them because Premier League's, they're harder to league and it's hard for them to stay in. And they're always going to make so many signings. Signed Frank Onyeka, not many other players. Colane's one of them. Amenda as well. I mean, they've lost so many players. Me personally, I don't know many of these players that they've left out, and it's probably the hardest to judge. These newly promoted sides as a tier list. But from what I've seen, they haven't made many signings, and none of them seem to be big names either. I know some of them as well, but I think if you're a relegated club or newly promoted club, you need to make big signings because we've seen it so many times. I think even this season, all three teams will go down. They need to make big signings if they want to stay up. So I've got to give it D tier. They've done not enough. Crystal Palace is next. This one, no. They lost Lacroix, an amazing centre-back, proven last season. And they've only signed one player for free, Oscar Mingueza. I don't know how to pronounce that, from Celta Vigo, on a free transfer. And they've lost Lacroix. That's basically it. They got Strand Larsen from January, but yeah, I mean, I can see them losing more players. Like, will Munoz leave? I don't know. But I think some big names like Adam Wharton as well might even leave. I'm not sure about that. So that is got to be D tier. I mean, this transfer window for a lot of clubs has been D tier. But now we're going on to Everton next. They got Hayden Hackney, the Middlesbrough captain. I think he was captain from last season. And since Middlesbrough didn't get promoted, he joined Everton. And that is an amazing signing. I think he'll do so well in the Premier League. I think he will suit Everton. They've also signed Tyreek George and Merlin Rowe from Freiburg. They've lost some players as well, including Seamus Coleman, many players, but no one that might, impact them too much because most of these players have been released. So I think that's genuinely those two signings, and I'm sure Merlin Rowe will be good as well. But I think Tyreek George, Everton's a good place. We've seen it with Dewsbury Hall from Chelsea players. I think Hayden Hackney especially for 24 million is amazing. So I'm going to put Everton because they've not lost any players. I mean, it's only 3 players they've signed, but I think that's our first A tier. I think that is a good, solid window so far, and what they need. Fulham transfers. I mean, they've lost Issa Diop. They've lost Raul Jimenez. I mean, he was old anyway, but he did decent in the World Cup. And they've lost some other players as well. They've only signed Jonah Kusi Asare from Bayern Munich for 5 million. So I don't even know if he'll start. So that is another D tier. We've had so little good good windows here. And yeah. Then we get another newly promoted side, Hull. They've got Matt Targett. He's a solid player, and I think he could suit them. And they've lost some players, but probably ones that weren't good enough for the Premier League. But they've only made 4 signings, and I think they've most of them are free. They've only spent 3 million in this window, and that's not good enough. If you're a newly promoted side, that's not going to cut it. You know, that's got to be another D tier. I remember last season, the signings that were being made is on a different level. I think those teams are just so much better than what we've been seeing this season. Ipswich, and players like Issa Diop, Emerson, which is an amazing signing, Fatawu. I mean, when I'm talking about promoted teams, this is what I like to see, you know. Ipswich need to make big signings. They're out of Hull and Coventry. They're making those good signings. Issa Diop, that's an amazing signing. They've signed Maeda. They've signed, you know, Fatawu, Emerson. These are amazing signings. They've not lost anyone too big. Okay, this is what you want to see from a newly promoted side. If this was a different team, different. But I think for Ipswich, this is an A tier transfer window so far. Now on to Leeds. Leeds have had a good season. They had a good season from their centre-backs, Ampadu, and they managed to get Harry Wilson from Fulham on a free transfer. Harry Wilson has been so good for Fulham, and if he is playing in that Leeds team, I think Leeds were a very underrated team last season for, you know, surviving that season. And I think, you know, Harry Wilson, it's surprising to see him go to Leeds. You know, he could easily go to a lot bigger of a club. But that is amazing. It's basically their only signing. They've signed Tariq Muhurevicic. I don't know how to pronounce that, for 34 million. They lost Pastel Skulik. I also don't know how to pronounce that. And yeah, they lost some other players, but not the end of the world. And I think that, you know, Harry Wilson transfer alone is amazing. And I think for that, it's just got to be B. Can't be A, but I think I have another strong season. Liverpool, what are we doing? Last season, they had a huge transfer window, but they've lost players. I mean, they've lost players like Kanate, Salah. You know, you need more depth in that defence. You need a stronger centre-back. Yes, you signed Jeremy Jacquet, but, you know, Joe Gomez is injured. Van Dijk's old, and you just need a strong defender there that can suit your system. You also, I think they just need a right back. Frimpong's not doing it. I don't think Conor Bradley's there. And I think, you know, yes, Victor Munoz is good, and it's a good signing, but you can't have going from having one of the best Premier League players of all time and not replacing him with someone who can prove himself. And I think that's just not good enough. Ekitike is out for half the season, maybe there's possibly even the full season, we don't know. But Isak's injury prone. He's not always reliable, as we saw last season. Maybe he will be this season, maybe it's different. But that's not good enough. I think, yes, they might need a new left winger. They could trust Rio, and I think, you know, Alexis McAllister is lacking a bit in the midfield. I really think they need to... Yes, okay, those two good signings. Yes, they're good signings. But, I mean, compared to what happened, they lost Andy Robertson as well. I mean, how are they going to replace him? Yes, they got Kirkers, but still, I mean, this needs to be better looking at what they had last season. So, yes, it would be a good transfer for someone else. But for Liverpool alone, it's got to be C tier. Now we're going on to a big one, Manchester City. They've not made, you know, many big signings, but they signed Elliot Anderson. I mean, many signings is what I meant. Elliot Anderson, he played so well for England, so underrated in that England team. And he's done it in the Premier League. He's such a good player. And I think that is just a perfect signing. Like, if Rodri leaves, he can potentially get up to the level of Rodri. I think that is an amazing one. And they signed Jeremy Munger as well, but nothing too big. Yes, they lose the Kanji, Ake, but, you know, and Bernardo Silva, but they knew that was happening. And same with John Stones. But, I mean, with Akanji and Ake, they weren't exactly playing, were they? I think since they did lose 3 centre-backs, either I think they should get a very strong centre-back because Ruben Dias and Guardiola can't always, be perfect. But I think overall, that seems to be just pretty solid. So I'll give them a B tier. Next, we're going on to United. Andre Santos, good signing. Do I think he'll do well? Maybe not, but I don't think he'll do badly. I don't think he'll do amazing, but I don't think he'll do badly. But then we go on to a good one, Youri Tielemans. Youri Tielemans has been so good in the Premier League, and I think Tielemans and Bruno Fernandes will be an amazing partnership. They could have such a strong partnership. You could put whatever other midfielder you want in that, probably Andre Santos or someone else. And I think it doesn't matter what midfielder you put in that. I think if Tielemans and Bruno can, link well, I think that can be one of the best, duos in the Premier League. And I think for that reason, just Tielemans and Santos, they're good signings. Lost some players like Rasmus Højlund. No one really cares about that. And some other obvious ones like Casemiro. But overall, that is just top. Those two signings, they don't... Yes, there's other positions. Maybe you get a new left-back. Dorgu, maybe not yet. But Luke Shaw, injury prone, he's getting old. But I think for now, that is a very, very solid window. So I'm going to give it A tier. Next, we're on to Newcastle. Not many big ones, They signed Bamba from Monaco, Toure from Hoffenheim, Stur from Ajax, and Joan from Reims. These players, compared to what you have, is just, not good enough. They lost Isak, and Isak's not done it at Liverpool, but Isak's a very good player on his day, and he was so good for Newcastle, and they never really properly replaced him. I mean, Woltemade can get there, but he's not done it yet, I don't think. He's had some good patches, but not too much. Now they just lost Tonali for 100 million. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tonali's a great player, but 100 million is quite steep. And they obviously lost Gordon to Barcelona. They definitely need to replace those. Trippier is just a good player to have in the squad, and they lost him as well. So I just think they got to do better, losing big players like that. I mean, at least they made some signings, which I guess is fine, so I guess I'll put them in C tier. Forest. Losing Elliot Anderson. I in my opinion, I think Forest will get relegated. Maybe they lose Gibbs White, but I just think their squad just isn't strong enough. Some ageing players, they've lost a key player, and I think, looking at what they did last season, Elliot Anderson was one of the players that kept them up. And if they're like that again, they're not making big players, big signings at all. I don't even need to read them out. It's just not good signings. They're losing big players. I don't know how they're going to replace these players, but I guess they will. So I think they need to do something with that, and I think that is D tier transfer window has got to be. I mean, the majority of the transfer windows here has been D tier. Sunderland, I don't think. Yes, they need to make signings, but I don't think it's as important as what it could be. If they want to maintain, they have got European football, and I think since they got promoted last season, the season before last, they need to have squad depth, because otherwise they'll get injuries, they'll not do well in Europe. Either they'll flop in Europe or they'll flop in the Premier League, and things could go downhill. They've really done nothing. A few free transfers here and there, but nothing. So that's got to be D tier. Finally, we've got Spurs. I think we've had no S tiers, but I think Spurs is different. Tonali, what a player! He's done it. He's so good. For 100 million, what a signing. Then they've signed Fernandes, because we need midfielders. Now we've got Tonali and Fernandes. We'll have players. Well, either you play maybe you play Maddison, but then you've in depth. Although Kulusevski is injured, you've got players like Bergvall, he might leave. Perhaps Sarr, Bentancur. If you saw him with João Palhinha at the end of last season, they just had a really strong partnership. I don't think many people saw that. You've got players Maddison, Sarr, Bergvall, Kulusevski. Who else? Bentancur. The list goes on. I can't think of all of them in my head right now, but you've got a lot of depth, a lot of young players as well that can grow. So that midfield is sorted. I think me personally, we need to get attackers. Solanke's done it before, we know. He's done it at Bournemouth, so he's got it in him somewhere. Richarlison may leave. Tell's towards the end of last season, he did well. He did well in pre-season yesterday, but that's pre-season. We're going to sign Savinho, which is good. Hopefully Krupi as well. But I think with Xavi Simons coming back in January, assuming he doesn't leave, he'll be good on the left, and then having maybe Madison or Kulusevski as cam. I think, our centre-backs has always been a problem. Van de Ven was always getting injured. Romero's getting injured. You got Danzo. We had to play Archie Gray centre-back season 4 last. And last season as well. Dragusin, he's on loan now. But I think, look, we've signed Van Hecke. He's a solid player. We signed Senesi, one of the best centre-backs last season in the Premier League. What a player. Romero will leave, but that's fine, because then we've got... Imagine you see Van Hecke, Van de Ven or Senesi on the bench. That just seems... it just doesn't seem normal. And then you have Danzo as well, which is solid. Dubravka, just a good, off the bench player in case Kinski gets injured. Obviously, Vicario will leave. I trust Kinski with my heart. I think he'll do well. We signed no one else. We signed Robertson as well, which is great. Hopefully... we've got Pedro Porro. This is a hot take, but I think he's one of the best right-backs in the world. He done it so well in the World Cup, and yes, it's the World Cup. He hasn't done it in the Premier League yet. But I think having Jed Spence, in my opinion, he was top 4 best England players this World Cup. He played so well, so underrated. I think he might leave. I hope he doesn't. I'd rather, sacrifice Robertson, put Robertson on the bench. Now we're going to have Udogie as well. He won't even be on the bench, Udogie. But Jed Spence has surely got to start. We've got to hold on to him. And I think Robertson's a good squad player. And he's, don't get me wrong, he's an amazing player to start as well. Obviously, we lost Vuskovic, but that's not, we've justified it. And then some other big signings. This is, without a doubt, and I think everyone can agree with me here, this is the only S-tier transfer window this season. I would understand for some other ones, but this is an amazing transfer window. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And hopefully, towards the end of the transfer window, maybe one of these teams will jump up a few tiers.